the cloud. All right.
I just got out of the shower, so I got wet head, but it doesn't matter. It's me and three guys. So thanks for being here. She's going to record this as well. And I don't even know what all I can cover in 20, 25 minutes, but if there's a couple of things that can shed some light, then hopefully it will. I think we've got someone in car sales, right? I used to do car sales, and life was good, I guess. You know, we always made good income, and we were doing fine, and we always paid our bills, and we were always ahead of the bills. And I guess in short, or to summarize, you got to ask yourself, if you were to win the lottery, or let's just say somebody snapped their fingers, paid all your bills, took care of all your debt. What up, Steve? Put $500,000 in a savings account, right? And you have no debt. Everything's paid. You got $500,000 in savings. Would you do the same thing you're doing today, tomorrow? Would you go to work? Would you do the same job? 90% of the people would probably say a strong hell no. 10% that love their job think that they would stay in that same groove and do the same thing because it's more of a feeling of familiarity than true comfort and joy. Because once you can get yourself to the point where you're not just paying bills anymore, or there isn't, even if you're getting ahead of credit card debt, or just having some simple things like a house payment and a car payment and no other debts, is considered to be pretty good in today's living. And that's what we were striving for. And many times we were there with my career choice and her being a stay-at-home mom. So I thought, man, we got the world by the ass. But what I learned really fast doing 20 years of car sales is, say 5 years into it, I was making good money, and what I consider good money, like $80,000 to $100,000. And then I made the decision to go into management, right? And that was the worst decision I ever made, because they presented as making more money, okay? But all you're doing is working more. You're getting more money for working more. You're not getting more money for the same amount of work. So I was just working my ass off. I went from 8 to 10 hour days to 14, 16 hour days and 6 days a week. And sure, my income maybe jumped to 200,000. But I kept all the shit to myself because I wanted my wife happy. I wanted my kids not to, grow up in a daycare. I didn't want her to work. She would tell me sometimes that she was stressed out, just staying at home all day long. And her two best friends are 2 and 3. And those are the people that she holds a conversation with all day, every day. And she's going freaking stir crazy. So I just felt like, shit, man, I'm trying to do everything I can on this side to maximize. And then I'm trying to give everything I can to my family in hopes to maximize. And I thought everything was great. So I just kind of kept it under my hat, and I just kept marching, every day. And we just do what we do, especially if we're the guys. Typically we're the, sole provider of the family, and we just go. We just put our head down and we go. And so, she came to me this one day with a proposal of Beachbody, and just the name alone, because I'm your typical jock guy, I made her feel like shit right out of the gate. I'm like, well, just listen to the name, Beachbody. Nobody's probably going to really take it seriously. What do they do? And she's like, well, they sell a shake and they sell and I'm like, oh God, like everybody else does. But in reality, we have to kind of peel everything away, because every business has a product, and every product has a source and a reason and a group of people that are going to attract to it. So, let's look at it this way. At least our wives aren't coming to us saying, hey, I want to sell candles or stuffed teddy bears or, super crazy, superficial shit, or even like makeup or Tupperware parties, to where it's really hard to get behind that. You know what I mean? As longevity and true financial security. What they're coming at us with is a concept of worst case scenario, having all of us in the family eat better, feel a little bit better, move a little bit better. And this is worst case scenario, right? Worst case scenario. It's just going to be an enhancement to your self-worth, your own family, and it's going to be a little bit of pocket money. Okay. So worst case scenario, they're going to make pocket money. They're going to look better than they've ever looked. They're going to feel better, have more energy. I can truly say this, not only with the women in this business, but the men, that the group of people that are behind this business are some of the most solid individuals you're ever going to meet in your life. They're educated. They're brilliant. They're brilliant in the UK. They're witty. They're funny. They're sarcastic. They're everything you are, right? And they're the type of people that are pushing for goals. So whether it's the woman in the business that's working or it's the man in the business that's working, it doesn't matter. They're successful coaches, both men and women in this. And health and fitness, we got to be honest with ourselves. Everybody wants it and everybody needs it. We talk about it constantly. I mean, if you eat a shitty meal, you go out for fast food, which we do too. I do, I eat French fries and pretzels and shit and whatever sometimes too, and so does Melissa. So nobody's perfect, but we're always consciously thinking about things we can do to, improve the way we eat, improve movement, work out a little bit better, accountability. And the amazing thing is how much more energy and confidence it gives your wife, which will also reflect to you. You're going to see that in her, and it's going to give more of an attraction to you from her, right? Because she's feeling more confident. The type of people, I mean, some of Melissa's friends in the past, I was just kind of like, I wasn't a big fan of. Her friends nowadays are way better. I would have never thought in a million freaking years that we would be at the 10-year mark doing this. I thought too, when my wife started, she made $300 or $500 a month. And I thought, okay, cool. I call it pocket money. So now if she goes to Target and she spends $180 on some frivolous shit, I'm not going to tear her apart, because at least she's got, she's making a little bit of money. There's a contribution. So worst case scenario, I thought, okay, this is good. I mean, it's not a bad thing, and it gives her self-worth and something to do. And she's excited. She's excited about it. But I made the mistake, and that's why I'm sharing here. And I hope you guys don't do it. And, if anything, learn from my mistake is I let her just be her, and I let her just do her thing. And I kind of just, I stopped judging, or I stopped making the comments, and I just let her kind of have her space. And I guess that's better than demeaning them or talking down to them about it. But in no time at all, I saw traction. She went from 300 to 500 to 1,000. And then she got an award. And then she won a trip that we went to on a cruise boat. And that was an epiphany moment for me, because I would do trips for the family since I'm the provider, and I would find deals online to Carnival Cruise. And it was just some old shitty boat. And it was $4.99 a person for 3 or 4 days. And we would go do that trip, and it cost me $4,000 or $5,000. Right. So she wins this trip, and it's on a Royal Caribbean cruise. It's Oasis of the Seas, the largest boat in the world, and it's completely paid for. And it was super badass. And we went on this trip, and I'm thinking, well, shit, if she didn't do anything but just win this trip for us to go on, that's huge. I mean, this would have cost $10,000. I don't have to plan a trip for the family this year. We're good. It's taken care of. And now she's telling me she's making $1,500 a month. And so it was so cool to see how this thing started to grow. And I tell you what, it was baby steps until the point, in fact, where I could swallow my ego and come to her and say, man, I see you're really doing good at this, and it's going somewhere fast. And she would always ask me, when are you going to help me? When are you going to help me? Why don't you help me? And I'm like, well, I couldn't be a coach. I would melt people's face off. I can't talk to them the way you do. I don't have the patience you do. And, I'd make these excuses. of ways not to help her, instead of stopping and thinking of what I could do that would free up more time for her to do more of what she's doing, because she's doing it well, but she didn't have a whole lot of time because she was the mom of the house. She was raising the two kids. I was at work full time, right? So what happened if it just started out as simple as me helping with like dishes or laundry or running to the grocery store? So she didn't have to, right? It started with little shit like that. And all of a sudden she was super appreciative that she could have like an extra hour to work this. And then it became more things like, now she's growing again. Now maybe she's at $2,000 a month. And I finally looked at her and I said, what are the things in this business? Like, have you done it long enough to establish like a list of things you hate? And she didn't even blink. She just turned around and grabbed a piece of paper and just started writing down. And she wrote down like 8 or 9 or 10 things. And she says this: I can't stand doing any of this shit. I can't stand when people ask me redundant questions like, how do I log into my back office? I can't stand how, people send me hate mail on my Instagram or my whatever on my posts. If there was a way to block this, that would be great. Or at least somebody that would answer it for me so I don't have to see them. She would just go down the line. And I was like, okay, cool. I'll take care of this and I'll do it. I'll either do it physically or I'll find somebody that'll do it for us. And the minute I did that and got that involved, that shit has nothing to do with Beachbody. We don't need to bleed blue. Like if our girls are doing Beachbody and they're behind it and loving it, it doesn't necessarily mean we have to be a clone. We don't have to do the same thing that they do, but we can be an active part that allows them to be better at what they do, okay? Because they have a better this than us. They have a better this than us. So we can't compete. You know what I mean? Let them run with that shit. Let them be, I call it the forefront. Or Chalene Johnson said it really good years ago. She says in a relationship, and more so in a successful business, a small entrepreneurship, right? In a successful business, especially with partners, you got to establish who's the dozer and who's the cone. Okay. The cone can play 2 positions. One, they can be on the sideline and kind of tell the dozer where to go, like just let the dozer go balls out and make sure they don't go out of bounds. Or they can also be the thing that goes in front of the dozer and make sure that nothing gets in the dozer's way. Dozer's going to run everything over, okay? But it doesn't mean that there's not going to be detrimental ramifications for shit that they do. So if you can help take like all of that off of their plate, okay? All of the stress points and all of the things that make them feel uneasy, to where now they have even more confidence going in and more free time going in to be successful, to try to maybe experiment, do things a little bit differently, because they know you're taking care of, that dark list, or you're even willing to help them out with creativity on ads, promotion, ideas and ways to promote, ideas of things that maybe they didn't look at it that way because maybe they're a little bit more conservative than you, or maybe you're the conservative one and they're the one that's super outlandish. And you could maybe suggest, hey, if we tried, presenting something a different way, have you ever tried to do it this way or whatever? And 9 times out of 10 they have. But it's like we say with Steve too. What we love about Steve is he'll say something brilliant, like, and just totally blow us away. And we're like, yeah, shit, we've never tried that. So, the relationship that you're going to have with people now and in the future is by simply stepping outside your boundaries. Okay. And the faster that your wife can feel super confident about that, and she's not going to get any more confident than knowing that her spouse is behind her 100%. Right. And so it doesn't, summarizing all this up, it just doesn't take that much out of us to make the hugest difference for them, is what I'm trying to get to. You don't have to quit your job tomorrow. Maybe that's your goal long term. You don't have to jump in and expect to have her shift her ways and do it the way you think to. Just kind of be there to take on those few items that feel like is weighing her down, will give you the best result right out of the gate. So, you know, in these 10 years, we've seen her build an empire. We've seen the empire go through some shakes. We've seen the business go through big booms. We've seen the business go through some shakes. And the only thing that's truly been consistent is the agreement that her and I made to work our own brand. So I empower you guys to do the same thing. Like maybe you see here lately, we decided to unroll this crazy thing called Naked Coffee, right? So we'll post this deal where we're doing naked coffee, and it has nothing to do with Beachbody. It's kind of crazy. It's kind of fun. And it just lets people know that there's more to us than just health and fitness and eating right. And where that came from about 6 months ago is we just started getting inundated with questions and concerns from people thinking that they can't eat good enough or they can't work out enough. Like, we were getting messages saying, man, I really want to be like you guys. And I know you guys never derail, and I know you guys never deviate from eating bad, or you guys work out all the time, and you know you never skip a workout day. Bullshit. We eat bad, and we skip a workout, and we go on trips, and we gain weight, and it's no different than anybody else. So we wanted to throw that out there just to be a little bit more candid and just show people that we're just like you. You know, we like to be crazy, we like to be stupid. This is a part of our life. It's not our whole life. It's just a part, and it's an amazing, journey and transfer over the years, because the first 2 years you got to go all in. It's a lot of hustle. It's a lot of dedication. It's a lot of time, and it's slow growth. And once you get to that 3-year mark and things are really starting to mature, and your coaches that you've sponsored on are starting to branch out, and the relationships become more than just, well, I'm your mentor, or, well, I'm the person that provides you stability, or somebody you can message when you're down, to taking people on trips, and they're inviting you to their weddings. They're inviting you to their kids' graduation. Your coaches are becoming your very, very best friends. And even like for me, like, I'm not an active coach. I'm the behind the scenes guy that just helps Melissa. And that's it. I mean, I will without a shadow of a doubt say she does 90% of this. Okay. But the 10% that I provide in this allows her all the difference to her, because that 10% get on 50% of her feeling or more, if that makes any sense. Like, she's cool with doing the 90%, but there's 10% she just can't stand. And the 10% kills her. It's like pouring freaking acid on a plant. You know what I mean? It doesn't take a lot, and it'll kill the whole plant. So it's the same thing. If I'm the guy that can help her, or if she knows, just by knowing that she has this person that she trusts more than anybody, which is you guys, if she has that person that's going to just take care of that 10%, kind of like that safety net or that pitfall, and she just knows that because she trusts you more than anything, she knows that you got her back. You're going to see your wife shine like you wouldn't believe. I mean, she's going to do shit that's going to blow your mind. It's going to blow your checkbook. It's going to build this business. It's going to get you excited. You're going to get excited to learn more, to do more, to be more active, to be more present on these trips, and be more involved in the groups, and go into her posts and comment and say cutesy things, or just stir the pot. You know, I like to do that too. Just go in and say some random shit and just get people going. So it's going to create this unity to where, man, you're going to start learning so many things about this business and outside the business and people in the business, that they're going to be your best friends. I've got other men in Beachbody that aren't even working the business. They're husbands of other coaches, and we're doing investments together, or buying properties together, or whatever. So what's so cool about Beachbody is that it's not just selling shakes and doing the workouts and all this. It's allowing you to become part of this community that, sure, we're all here to build a business in health and fitness. But once that thing gets established and it gets rolling, you can always reach out and talk to someone else that's going to help promote you to another level that'll get you higher and bigger. And then when things really start going, there's guys that you can team up to do other things that you have minded goals with, whether it's going on a trip or getting into an investment or helping you with taxes or helping you take your business to an LLC or taking your LLC to an S corporation or whatever. So you need to know that you're part of such a damn good thing. It's ridiculous. You're not just the husband of a wife that's selling a powder on the internet or putting a post on the internet for likes. My wife used to come to me all the time and she'd post something and she'd say, look how many likes I got. I got 306 likes. And I'm like, I don't give a shit. What does that mean in dollars? Like, how does a like pay us? How's that going to pay us? And she's like, well, you got to get the likes first, and then you get the followers. And then when they start following you, they'll question you and they'll have interest. And then once I have interest, I can invite them into one of my groups, or I can give them a free sample or give them a 5-day sneak peek, and they can kind of see what we do. So it's the same thing that I'm doing right now. I'm asking you guys to look into this as an opportunity of a much bigger thing. It's the same thing we do at a remedial level when we bring somebody into this business and your wife is doing the legwork of inviting them into a sneak peek or inviting them into a group or inviting them into a challenge. Okay. So it's no different. Me right now, I'm just inviting you as the husband into the challenge of befriending your wife at a competency level of let's be co-entrepreneurs. Like, dump your shit on me. That's the best thing that I think she could hear from you is, baby, I want you to be great at this. Dump your shit on me. Like, what don't you like? What do you hate? What do you despise that I could help you with now and in the future? You know, like, give me 3 things that we could do immediately. What are 3 things that you want gone in 1 to 6 months? And what are 3 things that you want gone by the end of the year? And what's one thing you want to accomplish? What's your number 1 goal that you want to accomplish by the end of the year? And what's your number 1 goal that you need to accomplish by the end of the month? And that's enough stuff to work on. Trust me, that's like a part-time job for you guys. So that's 22 minutes. I'm watching the timer, 23 right there. So hopefully that gave you a little bit of an insight. Man, if I could go back and eat my words that I said to my wife when she started this, I totally would, because I'm 10 years in, we're financially set. I've got a shop that I built with cash. We don't have any debt. We don't have any car payments. We don't owe anything on any houses, nothing. And I spend my time now with other Beachbody coaches doing investments. We're coming together. There's 5 of us that are coming together, and we're going to start doing some investments. I'm collecting some cars and some motorcycles as a hobby. And one day, you know, they'll be worth more money and I'll sell them or hand them down to my kids. The other thing, if you've got kids, you can build this business and you can set it up and time it just right. When our kids were 18 in the day, we signed them up and we had it set up to where there was just a perfect cog to put these kids where it was going to pay out really well. And daughter just turned 22. My son just turned 23. Okay. So from 18 to 22. So in 4 years, okay, placing them in the right place, building them correctly, they'll never have to, like when my son bought a house, we helped him with the credit, right? Doesn't have any credit. So we signed with him. We fronted the down payment, okay, which they paid us back, and they've never paid a monthly payment on their house. Can you imagine like giving your kids a gift of a free house? So you can do that too. You can do whatever the hell you want in this business. So we set it up for our kids to where, you know, the business was in place. We grew the business with them. And so now they, you know, they'll never make a house payment for the rest of their life. And so that's something immediate we gave them. And now we're working for things for even further long-term. So when we pass, you know, that they inherit something and maybe they can enjoy it and then they can pass it down to their family. So you can take this thing as far as you want. And what's hilarious is it's just been 10 years. And I think about this 10 years has gone by like a freaking blink. It literally feels like 18 months. And what we've done in 10 years, I think most people hope to do in a lifetime. I mean, we started at 0. Melissa talks about having 200 Facebook friends. So don't give me any shit, you know, and your wife you can share this to your wife, tell your wife, don't let any of the women give you any shit when they say, I don't have a Facebook group, or I don't have Instagram, or I'm not on Instagram, or I'm not on Facebook, or I don't have a following. It doesn't matter. If they just have a voice and they've got direction and they've got a goal, that's enough. That's enough. And all they got to do is share what they're doing. I mean, you can legitimately just work with your family and friends in the beginning, getting them signed up and working with your family and friends to get them going. And if you could help them get their businesses set up at an early stage, I mean, that's just enough right there to solidify your income and solidify their income to where they're going to be in a great place down the road, just kind of like our kids were in just 4 years. So it can be anything you want it to be, or it can be an absolute flop, you know? I don't mean to close it that way, but it can be. And the only way I see this being a flop is that, you know, we still hear this all the time. We get this message, I'd say probably 10 times a day. I'd love to give it a shot, but it just seems like it's a scam. It seems like it's a pyramid scheme. It seems like I'm going to get took. I don't know how I'm getting taken, but I feel like I'm going to get taken. You got to understand, and even your wife can pass this down and explain it, and I'm sure she does, that no one is ever, whether it's day 1 or 10 years in, no one sends Melissa money for anything. They don't pay Melissa to do anything, or me, or us, or our family. They're not paying us for anything. Beachbody pays us. The only thing they're ever buying or fronting money for is a product that they purchased for themselves that comes to their house. So it's that simple. There's nothing else that they're ever paying for, and there's no other way that it's gonna get them, you know? I'd like to wrap things up with saying, give your wife a chance, get behind her. I see a lot of these faces. They're super familiar. Your wives are killing it already. Some of you guys have been in the business now for a while too. So there's no selling you on the fact of what it is or how good it is or whatever. But hopefully maybe I just shared something to you, or you could take a tidbit or two away from this as far as where it can take you, how easily it can take you, and how easily you can have a fit with your wife in this business is just by taking the reins, taking a couple pieces, and just work on that. You don't even need to know anything about the business. When Melissa said, take the back office, figure it out, call people and remind them that they're going inactive, that they're missing a count on personal volume, or they've got a coach going inactive, or they don't have enough coaches for their rank. And I was like, what the fuck does all that mean? But I figured it out, you know. I started asking questions. I would do little printouts, and I'd come to her and I'd say, does this make sense? And if this person is at this rank, what's the minimum amount of coaches? And I took notes, and I had Post-it notes all over my desk. And literally it didn't take but a week. I mean, it's just like anything. If you were to go get that perfect job tomorrow, and if it's in a field that you're not really comfortable with, it seems really weird. It seems very uneasy, and it seems overwhelming, like a ton of shit you got to learn. But in no time at all, a week or two, you got it down, and it seems like no big deal. So it's all the same. This is no different. I hope that answered a couple of questions. I'm glad to see you guys on here. I hope you share it to other husbands, that the women in Team Made just let their husbands hear this and say, man, I'm a true believer. I wasn't in the beginning. I'm a true believer now. We're 10 years in. I fully anticipate this being the last thing that we do. We don't bleed Beachbody. Everything we do and everything we talk about isn't just Beachbody. But because of Beachbody, we're able to do anything we want in 10 years. So I just hope that same success for you guys. Have a great night.